When you kill an animal, what happens? It depends on what animal you kill. You kill a bird, effect is different. You kill a cow, effect is different. You kill small birds, big birds, it all, you could categorize it. Is there a measure by which we can know at what degree we have created a karma by killing? Yes, there is. And that chart which gives you what the degree of karma is built into our own mind, into our head. It's called the effect on the power of concentration of attention. When you kill, it affects your power of concentration of attention. Whoever you kill, it affects. If you kill the lower order of conscious beings, the effect is less. You kill the higher order of conscious being, the effect is more. And experiments have been done on that. You read a book, and you have a certain rate at which you read that book. Say, everybody at different speeds of reading. And sometimes you can learn the art of reading fast. You read not word by word, you read sentence by sentence. And some people teach you how to read paragraph by paragraph. But whatever your speed of reading a book is, say it's 1 minute a page of a particular book, and you go and kill somebody and come and try to read the same thing, it'll take longer than you normally take. Why? You cannot concentrate as easily as you could before the killing. You can try it yourself. It will make a difference on your own rate of. That is why there is already a measure in us. When we say, let us not eat meat, let us not eat animals, if we want to meditate, what's the reason? The reason is simply this. If you want to have effective meditation, you should create the least karma by killing, and maybe therefore vegetables may be the least. And that is why we say become vegetarian. They know the reason. It's a practical reason. People have forgotten the practical reason. And they have made it into a cult or kind of a fad that we have to be vegetarian for that. Not at all. It's because there's an actual difference that takes place in the concentration of your attention. And since good meditation, effective meditation, depends on how well you can concentrate your attention on yourself at the third eye center, therefore what food you eat makes a difference. And that is why it's recommended, take that food which involves the least interference with your power of concentrating your attention. Now, since the degrees are different, the karmic value, karmic repercussions of these is also different. And therefore, depending upon what you are doing, you may choose a lesser of the two evils. For example, somebody is going to attack you. A dog is going to attack a human being, and you kill the dog to save the man. You killed the dog, but you saved the man. So when you see the balance, that you could have been a witness to something worse than what actually happened. So very often in life, we have to choose between different evils. And very often we have to choose between different goods also, which is the best that we can do. These all affect our karma. And this is how our destiny is being made. We create our destiny with the kariman karma, the karma of acting after deliberation in your mind. That's how karma is created. That's how lives are made. That's how future lives are made. Since we think so much, put so many intentions in our life, we always create more karma that can be accommodated in another human life. Therefore, sometimes we spread it out by taking other forms of life. We can take the form of any life. They're all souls. Trees have souls. The same soul that we have. No different soul. Souls are life. They're the same. But they have been enclosed in a covering which is different and reduces their ability to be conscious to different levels. And that is why we may also become like them, depending upon the type of karma we have. So we can go through all forms of life. And sometimes people have asked, Is there any particular order in which we go? Supposing our karma is such that we have to be a tree for 10 years, an insect for 2 years, and we have to be a dog for 5 years. Can we be a dog before we a tree? No. That is where I thought Darwin was right when he produced the series of evolution, that how you come out from one species to another. That's exactly how karma operates. We go through a progressive evolution of form until we come back to human form again. Sometimes you come directly from human to human if your life is reasonably well controlled and you don't create too many evil or bad karmas. So that is why it's important to understand that this rebirth is created by our own self, from our own karma, from our own intentions and actions of past lives. Since there are so many, we create a prarabdha with our karma, our destiny with our karma, and then we also create new destinies during one play out of a life. What is surplus and cannot be accommodated in one future life goes into a reservoir, a reserve, very huge reserve called the Sinchit karma, also held in our mind, also held in our brain, not held anywhere else. If it was technologically possible to explain, I'll say it's a brain cloud. Now everything is in cloud nowadays. But this is a cloud inside the brain. So therefore, the Sinchit karma is in the brain, in the mind. The mind does not die when we die. The mind does not die when the astral body dies. The mind survives. The mind survives for millions of physical years. Therefore, the same karma, the same Sinchit karma, the same reserve karma goes on and makes it possible to keep on having new lives even if we have not created much karma in one life.